name's Jackson, and today I'm here with Mr. Ritsma to ask him a few questions about Remembrance Day. Now, Mr. Ritsma, what would you say Remembrance Day means to you?
To me, I guess Remembrance Day in its primary role kind of just serves as an opportunity to reflect on not only what people have gone through in the past, but also what people are going through in our present day situation and world, and kind of just a rare opportunity to reflect as a community on like the role that war and violence plays in our society as well as our global system. In another meaning, it's also an opportunity to build a collective identity, and this is something that the Canadian government has certainly kind of emphasized and doubled down on in its efforts to build a nation here. And as we are an international school, it is an opportunity for these students to kind of feel a part of Canadian culture and the entire Canadian political experience, both in like a formal way as well as informally. We can, be seen as members of this larger Stratford community and things like that. Taking this idea of identity a bit further, because the day typically focuses on the world wars, which obviously affected the entire world, it's an opportunity to kind of build a much larger global identity amongst ourselves. The day itself is shared, around the world, and it's kind of enables us to realize of our collective interests in not only preventing war, but also reflecting on how war has shaped our societies and our collective desire to kind of move beyond this.
You know what? That's very, very profound, Mr. Ritsma.
Thanks, Jackson.
Of course. Now you've just listed many, many things, but of those many factors, which would you say is most important to the key idea of Remembrance Day?
I think the most important aspect there, and it's something I might have not highlighted enough in my first response to you, but kind of reflecting on the senselessness of violence and war. November 11th itself commemorates the end of the First World War. Unlike the Second World War, which has more of a moral imperative, or some other conflicts, the First World War is completely politically driven. It didn't need to happen, and it was very much like senseless violence. Especially looking in retrospect, there was this idea that politics and advancement and development itself was a zero-sum game amongst nations, meaning that if one nation was doing better, another nation was inherently doing worse, or that you would advance at the expense of your rival. This idea has been completely discredited, both economically, politically, socially, all over, our world with empirical data. So it kind of gives us an opportunity to think about our own choices in life, both politically and as individuals, and how many of the things that we take as given, in the sense that like fighting for these ideas of king and country or imperial glory are in many ways abstractions and things that are used in many ways to manipulate people into doing things completely counter to their best interests.
Thank you for that take.
Like that?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Thanks.
And I remember last year when I was in grade 10, I had your history class, and it was one of my favorite classes.
Thanks, Jack.
But of course. But I do remember you taught us quite a bit about World War I, and one of the ideas that you did teach us was what you just said, that it in no way needed to happen because it was entirely politically driven. Because it was sort of it was like a domino effect.
Right.
Because countries that had alliances just kept declaring war on each other over what was originally one assassination of not a technically small state, but of not one of the most important places.
There you go. Look at this guy. He's not reading that. He learned all that.
Yeah.
So it's true. Yeah. So he's referring to the outbreak of war in July of 1914. There was this moment all month long called the July Crisis, where all of these European powers were trying to negotiate a way out of this war, while all these vested interests, like the military, different banking systems, different national interest groups, things like that, as well as just patriotic people who are driven into a fervor at the idea of kind of imperial expansion or advancing their own nation. These two competing interests kind of for a month in the halls of power across Europe were vying for for influence. And in the end, what you just said happened, where the alliances were maintained and, you know, respected, and everyone was dragged into this much larger conflict than it needed to be. Like you mentioned, it's one assassination that ends up killing, you know, 25 million people and completely changing the course of world history. And for World War I especially, like in our society, we don't realize how much it changed, but it really built the entire logistical system and globalized economic system that we live in today. And it's the reason we have products from all around the world kind of at our fingertips, really. It was these imperial powers had to muster their entire global logistics systems to bring, you know, men, food, materials into the European battle space.
All right. Yeah, that's really fair. I really like how you explained that, Mr. And so that was very articulate.
Thanks, Jackson.
Of course.
I do it for a living.
Yeah, that's fair. But and just one more question.
Yeah.
How do you feel the school deals with the solemnity of this day?
I really respect the way the school you know, deals with this day and kind of the posture we take. So you know better than anyone, we have a cenotaph just down the road. It's like 500 meters down the road, less maybe. And we go there. We're always the first people, the first large group at least, to show up. You guys, you stand there very respectfully. You're all looking good in your uniforms. Everyone, you know, is very pious about it, very solemn, as you said. And I really got to hand it to you guys. You're the first there, you're the last to leave, you look good, you are respectful, you stand at attention, and it really does make an impact and an imprint on the Stratford community. Speaking of this identity kind of building that I talked about in my first answer there, it is a way in which us as an international school, a lot of these kids are from obviously all around the world, and it's a way in which the Stratford community can actually see that we're a serious part of this community. We care about this community. We're not here, you know, just flippantly, but we are respectful of Canadian culture. We want to be part of this, and it's a really good opportunity for you guys as people who are non-Canadians to kind of show that you are a part of this community. So I really like that, and in the proactive sense that you guys get to feel that you're kind of part of this larger Canadian narrative. The community itself can see that you guys are respectful, you know, young people. And then back at school, we typically have a discussion or two in assembly or our classes about the senselessness of war. People can share experiences. A lot of people have family members who have served in various conflicts around the world, some of them the world wars. So in that sense, we can kind of, in and amongst ourselves, find a lot of commonalities, because everyone has the same reaction. No one's happy about this stuff. No country, you know, is proud of this chapter of their past, and people can kind of share like, oh, this terrible trauma that our forefathers have went through. So it serves a lot of different purposes, you know, in our society, and it's rare that we get a chance to kind of reflect as a community or a group on the lessons of history. We kind of feel that we're detached from these things, and we live in a very individualized society. We kind of feel that we're like adrift and we don't have any connections to a larger narrative or a larger community in this day and age, or that history has no lessons to teach us. And this is a day where you're kind of forced to reckon with that and realize that like we are all products of a history. History doesn't end, you know, tomorrow this will be history, right? So we're trapped in this thing called history and these events, and not to take it as a given that things will play out a certain way, but in fact that we actually do have a role to play in how everything's gonna turn out. And that's why I like teaching kids, you know, to instill this on you that like this isn't, nothing's set in stone, you know, and the future is unwritten, and it'll be your guys' generation and the ones that come after you who determined how this is going to be and the outcomes and the future of the human race, really.
Thank you very much for that interview, Mr. Ritsma.
No problem, my friend.